still level. This is our second tutorial, and in this tutorial we want to look at the HTML elements and structure. In HTML5 elements and structure, in this tutorial I will summarize the topic in terms of theoretical view of elements and the structure in visual view and the DOM tree of the HTML. So DOM means document object module, and a practical example. So let us start with the HTML elements. So when you hear element, just know it is whatever that is contained from the start tag to the end tag. Sorry for hearing the term tag for the first time, but for now I will explain deep for tags in the next tutorial. But now here, just know that a tag is whatever that is contained in the anchor tags. So these are the anchor tags. So the tag name goes inside the anchor tags, and you will see they are in two paired. So the last one has a // so that one signifies the end tag. This is the beginning of the tag and this is the end of the tag. So I will explain in the next tutorial, so make sure that you keep in touch. And the content goes here. So everything here that you are seeing on this second line is what we call the HTML element. So let us give an example of HTML elements. So like you can see h1 is in the anchor tag. So h1 here in the first lot is the start tag, and the last one is the end tag. So it is enclosing the content. This is heading 1. So heading 1 will be the content. So h1 is the start tag, and the other h1 is the end tag, and the text in between is the content. Now that one, if you sum up all of them, they give us an HTML element. So let us give another scenario. So there is an a tag, but with the href is equals to URL in double quotations. So this one I will also explain later, but just for faster preview, a means anchor tag. So they are tags used to show the links, and they must be accompanied by href, which is also called the attributes. So an attribute, later in the tutorials you will be notice that it gives more information about the tags. So those ones will be explained in the later tutorials if we follow together. So thus elements comprises of tags, some attributes, and some content, as we have seen in the previous examples. So now this is the visual structure of an HTML. So from now henceforth, you need to know that now HTML uses the knowledge of tags, so that browsers do not display tags, but uses these tags to know how to display the content. So this is how we shall be structuring our HTML as we progress. So you must start with the doc type HTML declaration. So it is inside the anchor tags, and you need to note that it has an exclamation mark. So in programming, from now, if you see any exclamation mark, the computers interpret it as not or negate, or it's like you are opposing it. But now this is how it should be. So it defines the document type. So in HTML5, this is how we declare it. But if you have taken your time to preview the previous version, you'll notice that there are many Unicodes inside the doc type HTML. So our current version of HTML5, this is the syntax. So much work was reduced, and it is very simple. So now the next kind of tags is HTML. So HTML, but they are also case insensitive, but it's a good programming practice to write them in small case letters. So it means HTML is beginning here and it's ending down here. So this tag normally signifies the root element of an HTML page, or it means that this page is starting from here or beginning from here, and it is ending from down there. So the HTML has main or basic tags we call head, head and body. So they are nested. So the word nesting means tags being inclined in the main tags. So if a super tag, so HTML will be called a super tag, and head and body, they are sub tags. So they are nested into a super tag HTML. So the next tag is head. So after HTML, you go to head, you start from here and you close. So the work of the head, they store the meta informations about the HTML page. So meta means the information inside another information. Very important information. It's not displayed on the browser, but it is very important for the search engines and the browsers when they are displaying this information. So inside the head, we also nest titles. So during the practical example, I will show you the real meaning of the title. So the content that goes inside the title is normally displayed on the browser's tab or the page tab at the top of browsers. I will show you in the examples. So whenever you start the tag, you must close it. So what goes is still inside the head. You can insert some of the links like the CSS links. Later when we start CSS, you will see how we link them externally. Here you can give some of the meta tags information like the character sets. I will explain deep as we go by. So the last one inside the HTML tag is body. So we have started here and ended here. So body is just a tag of a container that store all the visible contents in the browser. So I will show you the area of visible content in the browser. So tags like headings will go there, paragraphs, images, hyperlinks, tables, lists, etc. So we shall explain those tags one by one because there are hundreds of them. I'll just explain some of them and you will be required to research more. So let us look at the DOM tree. DOM, I've said, means document object module. So this is another way of representing the HTML structure. So I've said the doc type HTML shows declare that the type of the document we have is an HTML, or the type of the file is HTML. So there is another special tags HTML starting and ending. So they all contain the head and the body. So that the head will have things like titles, the meta informations. So those tags, styles, base, link, we shall see them later. So inside the body, where we can have things like headings, tags, paragraph, all those tags and tag elements will go in the body. So that's how it is. So we can now try to give a practical example. So allow me to continue from the previous tutorial. So we wrote a Hello World program. So it is still on the desktop. So you can also check where you saved so that we go together. So on that Hello World, I will double left click so that it open with my default browser. It should also open with your own browser. And still on the same browser or the same file, you right click and you go to open with, if you are using Windows, whatever the Windows version you are using, then go to open with Notepad. So I repeat again, you select the file on the desktop, you right click and you go to open with. So you open with Notepad. So now we want to structure it. So we have said that we start with the doc type declaration. So you shift the comma button if you are using the keyboard for which language, for US language or the British language. So you shift comma and then you shift number 1 for an exclamation mark. Then you type doc type text in a capital form. and HTML. So you can still type HTML in capital, but it's a good programming to follow whatever I'm typing on the screen. So after that, we go to the head, to HTML, sorry. So this HTML, we have opened that tag, so we need to close it, HTML. Now because it is enclosing everything, you can just enter, but in the browser those enter spaces are ignored. So we can indent to show that the other tags are nested into a super tag called HTML. So I've just pressed 2 space, so the space buttons, the space bar, and next tag will be the head. So whenever you open a tag, you should close it, as we shall see also in the next tutorial. So you need to close it. So after you have closed it, you have said inside the head we can still nest title, so that I show you the work of the title. So whenever you open the tag, you will close. So the difference between closing is that you just include a pre-forward slash like that. Then down here at the head, we are still nesting inside the HTML tag. So we go to body. So you need to follow carefully how I am structuring this HTML. So I've opened body, so I'm also closing the same body. Yeah, so enter spaces will be ignored, so don't worry about them. So whatever you do on the text or editor, make sure you go to file and save. Alright, so we shall refresh here in the browser, so it should show you nothing here. So this is what I was saying, that HTML doc type shows the type of the document for the browser. Then HTML shows the beginning, and here shows the end. Then in the head section, when you see this browser or browser here, you will see it is partitioned at the top and the bottom. So at the top there is a hello world. So let me show you now the work of the title. So what the content in the title will go where the word hello world is at this tab. So this section is called the tab section, the browser tab section. So let me try to write anything there, like index. So make sure you save. So if I will click on the refresh button, it will change to index. So you need to be careful. So it has been, the hello world has been replaced to the index. Yeah, so that's where the title goes. So try to change it. You will see that everything is going at the tab section. Now, if you see here, it is where the URL goes. URL means Uniform Resource Locator. So when we go to the links, it's showing me that the file hello world, it's in the C drive, users, in the my name folder. This is my computer, and OneDrive then is on the desktop. So it is giving me the full path or URL path of my file. So at this white space, starting from here down, this big white space is where the content or all the tags inside the body will appear. That's why we're saying that in the body section, it's a container for all visible content in the browser. So whatever you write inside the browser, in the body, so write anything and save. So it should go inside the white spaces. So we can try to use one tag, of which I will explain them in the next tutorial. Let me just bear with me, but we shall explain them later. So I want to use something like a heading, and I will say this is my heading. So make sure you save, and if I refresh, you will see the difference between So you will realize that the browser hasn't displayed the tags h1, but it has used the tags h1 to interpret that this is a heading, so it is displaying it bold, and maybe the font size has been enlarged. So in the next tutorial we shall look at the tags and how to comment and some of the other features. So stay tuned, and remember, if you want to be wiser than everyone, listen more and talk less. Thank you. See you in the next tutorial.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face, tell me that you love me, even if